Right. What is objective? Oh, snap. Can't see my mouse. All right. What is objective morality? Goals for this presentation. Hold on a second. I gotta minimize the images. All right. Cool. Goals for this presentation is to seek knowledge on objective morality, natural law, the occult, and share this information with others. And here's a quote by William Blake. The quote is, "Truth can never be told so as to be understood and not be believed." And why I put this quote was because although I don't know everything, I certainly feel that this information is correct. Therefore, I believe, and that's why I put this here. All right, I feel like this is a video, so let's see. Oh, all right, so before we get into what objective morality is, there are some working definitions that must be addressed. So this clip is from Mark Passio's documentary, The Science of Natural Law. And in it, he explains what natural law is. And if it gets too long, I'll make sure I just go to the next slide.
To understand what natural law is, we must first know what it most certainly is not. Natural law is definitely not, and has absolutely nothing to do with Darwin's theories on evolution, the Darwinian survival of the fittest, the so-called law of the jungle, or the so-called natural order of nature as a dog-eat-dog world. So, what actually is natural law? The definition of the word natural is inherent to and having a basis in reality and nature. In other words, not man-made. The definition of the word law is an existing condition that is both binding and immutable. Binding means having an effect that cannot be escaped. Immutable means unable to be changed by anything or anyone. Natural law, therefore, is a set of universal, non-man-made, binding and unchangeable conditions which govern the behavioral consequence of beings with the capacity for holistic intelligence. Natural law governs the aggregate or collective, free will behavioral choices of entire populations by manifesting the consequences of the behaviors that we choose. The consequences which we receive are always dependent upon whether our chosen behaviors are either moral or immoral, or in other words, right or wrong. While we all have free will,
I'm gonna leave it there because I don't want to run off. All right, here's another working definition of what right and wrong is. And so this is all based on Mark's, this is from whatonearthishappening.com, which is Mark Passio's website. So like I said it before, I think this is what I feel is correct. And yeah, do your due diligence. So what a right is, it's correct, it's based in truth, it's moral, it's in harmony with natural law, and its actions based in it do not result in harm to sentient beings. A wrong is incorrect, not based in truth, it's immoral in opposition to natural law, and its actions based in it result in harm to sentient beings. And yeah, here's just another clip of Mark going talking about morality. And yeah, here we go.
Morality, it's not right versus left. It's about right versus wrong. This whole left-right paradigm that people are, oh, you fall in with the left, with the Democrats, or the right, the Republicans, has nothing to do with any of that. It's a false paradigm. The thing that all of that's a distraction for not getting you to pay attention to and understand is the difference, the real, true, and objective difference between right and wrong. And we're going to explore what that is, because it can be known. It can be known, and most people will be shocked and horrified to understand the real differences between right and wrong, because they'll have to look into themselves and recognize in many ways that they are cooperating with wrong, and that they don't really truly know the difference between right and wrong. When you tell people this, I'm telling you, I told this to somebody in a bar once, which was a big mistake of even trying to bring up this discussion in that environment. But occasionally I even, make asinine mistakes like that and think I'm going to be talking to even a semi-conscious being when you're talking to a block. Okay? So I said, you understand what actual morality is true common sense. We're going to look at that term, common sense, and explore what it really means. And she said, so what you're saying is if I think that there's no really objective right and wrong, that I don't have common sense. And I said, yes, that's what it, no, I said, that's not what I think. I'm trying to explain to you that's what it means by definition, not by what I think. The definition of common sense is to truly know the difference between right and wrong. And I said, because I say that you are not fully in that state of awareness, don't even take it personally, because billions of people on the earth are in that same state of awareness. You're not special, and it's not a personal attack against you. And I thought this person was going to throw a glass at me. Literally got so enraged because she's associating the concept of common sense with that you are functional and can adequately perform the daily activities of living. And that's not what I'm talking about as common sense, okay? Having common sense about, I can prepare my meals and eat for myself and wash my own clothes and, go to work. That's not what I'm talking about as common sense. That's your everyman's definition or connotation of common sense. We're going to talk about what common sense really is. Okay? A deep understanding of morality, which are the principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong behavior, lies at the very heart of natural law. This is the essence of it, folks, right here.
All right, we're moving into the why is this important, and I interviewed Brandon Spencer, who is a part of the One Great Work Network, which is a network of individuals that teach natural law, and this is what he said. Why is natural law and objective morality important?
Because it's important, because our natural law teaches you to go within yourself. It teaches you to look at your own actions and behaviors, because you have something to weigh something with, so hell, imagine when you're weighing something, you have pretty much like like a standard, so you're weighing to make sure it holds up held to that standard. Once you understand what natural law is, then you have a standard to hold yourself to and hold everyone else to. So then therefore you can judge, engage your behaviors and weigh that to the standards of our natural law. And then therefore you can use discernment in your own life. You can use discernment, because judgment is a part of life. Judgment is a part of consciousness. Judgment is a part of being human beings. So many people don't want to use discernment. It's a huge part of our development. I mean, just imagine if we didn't use discernment. How long would you really last? You wouldn't. You'd be taken out in society. So we have to use discernment. Once you know how to weigh your own behaviors, then you have something to judge. Okay, if someone else is engaged in certain behaviors, then I'm going to wait. If it's not being, if it's not making weight, hey, maybe I don't want to hang out with that person. That's just the reality of it. Hey, maybe this person needs to go, and educate themselves on objective morality. Because without objective morality, people can never come to that cohesiveness and harmonization in a collective scale. Because if you have that subjective interpretation, your rights or your definition of rights could always differ from my definition of rights. Then, therefore, in that lack of clarity, whenever we have lack of clarity, we lack communication. Whenever we lack communication, that equals what? Friction. Whenever we lose communication, it always leads to friction. So if we have that communication, we have that clarity, which would be the understanding of objective morality, because you know how to treat other people, and I know how to treat other people. And because we share this environment together, we have to learn to coexist. We have to learn to live together. So I have to, respect your rights and respect your boundaries, just as though you have to respect my rights and respect my boundaries. And there's a second part, because that's the non-aggression principle. If someone else does transgress, then you have to step into that masculine role of self-defense. You know, a lot of people understand how natural law objective morality from the feminine aspect of non-aggression, non-violence. But then once violence, is being, brought forward, then what do? Then you have to use self-defense. You have to be willing to have that self-love and self-care, because self-defense is a form of self-love. Self-defense is a form of self-care. You know, you love yourself enough that you are willing to make that hard choice, to defend your life, because you say, hey, my life has value, my life has meaning, my life has worth. So I'm not just going to let someone steal from me, because I worked hard to build, this vessel, to work on my consciousness, and there's a lot of people who still need to, understand natural law. So my life has value. So this is why these teachings are important, because it really teaches you how to go within yourself. Because, like I've always said, the seven hermetic principles are within the individual and they exist in nature. But, coming to understand objective morality is so important, because then you really understand the consequences that will follow, because everything that we do has consequence. Everything we do has consequence. You cannot ignore the consequences of reality. That's the immutable law. So once you really understand these things, then you can develop that fluidity within your own self to guide, you know, to literally flow with nature, and not, try to flow upstream. You know, too many people are trying to go hell against nature. Too many people are trying to go against the all. Too many people are trying to go against the truth, rather than just let it flow within you and come to that fluidity.
I don't, sir. I mean, I don't agree 100% with what he said, but it was dang good. And the part I don't agree with is that he said you have to defend yourself. I feel that you don't have to do anything, but I certainly recommend defending yourself. All right, now, just wanted to read a definition of what subjective morality is. And it says the opposite of objective morality is subjective morality. Subjective morality says morals are human-made and can vary from person to person. While there are strong morals in many humans, such as rules against harming others, many morals are subjective, such as making eye contact to show trustworthiness. I don't know what they're saying at the with that last sentence, but the case is that subjective morality means that you get to make up what right and wrong is. So, and then here's a definition of what objective morality is. I I'll just read it. Objective morality is the belief that morality is universal and not made up for interpretation, suggesting that objective morality exists independently of individual perspectives. Some individuals may think of objective morality when they study commandments in their religion, while others may believe the universe has objective rules to follow, such as universal kindness. And I certainly feel that there is a truth, and if there is a truth, then that's independent from belief. So if that's the case, you don't have to believe in it. It's just is. There are specific arguments against the existence of objective morality as well. For example, not everyone will follow the same rules according to their religion, culture, or upbringing. What is extremely bad to one person may be okay to another. However, proponents of the idea that morality is objective maintain that morality exists in nature and is ingrained in humans, making sense regardless of cultural or personal differences. I don't know what they're saying. Honestly, I didn't really read this. I just took a screenshot of this. Let's move on. So this is the question: is morality objective or subjective? And I have a drum roll. All right, here's another video, Mark.
Objective morality. The difference between right behavior and wrong behavior is objective, meaning it is not based upon the perceptions or opinions of human beings, but rather such a difference in behavior exists in nature, purely independently of subjective human perception or opinion. Morality does not change based upon feelings.
All right. Call to action. Check out Mark Passio's website, whatonearthishappening.com. Thank you for your attention, and that's the end.